Right, latest travel in just a tick. Now, after that, we're going to talk a little bit about bowel cancer, because one of my absolute heroes, and she has been my whole life. I first encountered Julie Walters on Victoria Woods as seen on TV, and I've loved her ever since. I mean, both of them, two giant
employees. So Barclays has backtracked, has turned the ability for managers to see anything to do with an individual off, but the individuals can still see their own feedback and choose whether they wish to listen to it or simply switch it off.
Claire, thank you. Claire Barrett, personal finance editor of the Financial Times. Around this time last night, we talked about Mike Bloomberg, a self-made billionaire who was mayor of New York for many years and who spent hundreds of millions of dollars on television commercials to try to become the Democrat who takes on Donald Trump in November. He has blanketed states, which have still to vote, with thousands of ads promising Mike will get it done. He's surged in the polls as a result, so much so that last night he was on the stage with his rivals for the first time in a live TV debate. The first time they had a chance to question him and attack him and try to blunt his rising popularity. It was quite a night. Here's a flavour of the pasting he got. Elizabeth Warren with Mike Bloomberg.
We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against.
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is
Let me
there?
finish.
How many is there?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me put, there's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them.
Julia Manchester is a political reporter for The Hill in Washington, D.C. That was a pretty accurate flavour of how difficult it was for him. What other topics did Mike Bloomberg struggle with?
Mike Bloomberg struggled with a number of topics, mainly about his past comments on very controversial policies in the U.S., such as stop and frisk, that policing policy, as well as redlining, which involves, banks handing out loans to individuals or families that come from low-income areas. He's made very controversial remarks about those policies in the past, and he was pressed on those remarks from basically everyone on stage, from Joe Biden to Bernie Sanders. And we saw that during the debate, he really didn't seem to be clearly with it. He wasn't able to defend himself. He didn't have clearly very well-prepared answers, and I think it was easy for someone like a Bernie Sanders, who's the front runner of the race, to really contrast himself as someone who is more relatable and obviously more prepared on the debate stage. However, I would say one of the big winners of the night was Elizabeth Warren, who has had very less than stellar performances in Iowa and New Hampshire. However, she really hit it out of the ballpark with going after Bloomberg on his alleged sexist comments and other policies as well. So, he definitely was probably the most targeted candidate on stage last night.
He's still got plenty of money to spend on ads, but how much damage has been done to his campaign by what happened in one debate?
I don't think probably that much damage has been done. I could be wrong. I don't have my crystal ball in front of me. However, the majority of American voters don't tune into these debates. They tend to read the stories the next day, or maybe watch the clips on the morning news shows or afternoon news shows the next day. So they're not tuning in religiously to watch these. We also have another debate in 5 days in South Carolina that Mike Bloomberg has already qualified for. So he does definitely has a chance to really change the narrative. But one question I really have is, how much should voters watch this debate and really consume what was said in the debate versus how often are they logging onto Facebook, YouTube, social media, or television or radio and hearing a Mike Bloomberg ad? I would assume they're hearing Mike Bloomberg ads more than they are consuming that information in just one debate.
Julia, before we let you go, I want to ask you about some breaking news. Roger Stone, a close ally of Donald Trump, who prosecutors wanted to send to jail for 7 to 9 years, has just been sentenced to 40 months in federal prison. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of backlash to this announcement right now, especially from Democrats and critics of President Trump. This entire sentencing process has really come under scrutiny scrutiny because due to the fact that the Trump administration and the Department of Justice really interfered on that sentencing, and obviously Roger Stone is an ally of President Trump. So this has really been blown out into a big issue, and I expect to get quite a bit of backlash in the coming days.
Julia, thank you. Julia Manchester, political reporter for The Hill in Washington, D.C. What about Idlib in a moment? First, the headlines. Holly Jones.
Well, I've been taking pictures of people, and I completely froze at how
afternoon prayers. A man's been arrested. It's not currently being treated as terrorism. A German man who shot and killed 9 people in Hanau near Frankfurt last night is thought to have been a far-right extremist. A body's been found by police searching for an elderly woman who fell into a flooded river in Devon. LBC weather, scattered showers clearing from
there to help. They just want to take images, and I've had to tell certain people off, really give them a good telling off, and I said to them, you know what, I hope you experience it, because to me, if you see something happening, the first response is to assist. If you don't want to assist, you put that camera away. I can understand.
But what about the paparazzi though, Joy? I mean, they're just doing their job, aren't they?
No, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm not making any excuse for you, paparazzi. Even that name, it's like parasite. What gives you the right? That's the job you've chosen. You're not a like, what do you call it? Fergal. I'm saying Fergal King, but that's the singer. Obviously he was a documentary
But it's a supply and demand thing, isn't it? You know, they wouldn't be able to sell their wares. They wouldn't do what they do for a living if there wasn't a market for the pictures of the celebrities falling out of taxis or what have you.
I can understand, because there are times when you look at it and I'm thinking, oh my God. But there are so many wonderful people, men, women, who are famous, but they don't put their business out there. I don't empathize with those so-called celebrities who want to put their business out there. I have no empathy for you, because to me personally, you're objectifying yourself. You're allowing someone, you need to dignify yourself, have more self-respect and dignity. Okay. When you don't do that, then people feel they've got a right to walk all over you and abuse you. But listen, people, you see a midget of a woman, do not bring that camera near her.
Joy, thank you very much for your thoughts. 0800 731 2000. Now, talking of celebrities with dignity, Dame Julie Walters has revealed that she was diagnosed with stage 3 bowel cancer today. The actress who starred in Billy Elliot, Educating Rita, Mamma Mia, and many more wonderful films and television programs told the BBC's Victoria Derbyshire that she initially thought doctors might have made a mistake. Having had chemotherapy, however, the actress has now been given the all clear. She explained how the doctors first told her.
He said, sit down. I said, yeah. I said, oh, what's up? And he said, we found an abnormality in your intestine. I said, right, what is it? He said, well, I'm worried it's cancer. So I came out, and then Grant was waiting in the car because he'd taken me. I said, they're worried it's cancer. And I'll never forget his face and the tears came into his eyes. I thought, Grant. So I'm then worried about him more than...
But what was the effect on you?
Shock. First of all, shock. And I thought, right, and then you hold on to the positive, which was, he said, we can fix this.
And how are you now?
I'm really well. As far as I know, touching wood. I've just had a scan on Monday, and I know that that's clear.
So could The Secret Garden be your last film?
It's possible, yeah. It's possible. But you know, something might come up. It would have to be something I really engaged with, and that didn't have a killing schedule. I'm not saying I'll never act again, but I don't think I can go back to, certainly not 6 days a week, 5 days a week, 5 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, with a big part, with having to learn life and the stress of it.
Your wonderful friend Victoria Wood, 2 years previously to you being